Understanding Black fatigue, when used by white people. A misappropriation of language and experience. In recent years, as conversations about race, privilege, and systemic injustice have become more visible in public discourse, some white individuals have expressed what they refer to as Black fatigue. This term, when used by white people, often describes a sense of emotional or psychological exhaustion from engaging in dialogues about racism, confronting personal or collective privilege, or processing difficult historical and current truths about racial injustice. While it may seem like a benign expression of personal discomfort, this usage raises serious concerns and reveals deeper dynamics of racial privilege and misunderstanding. To begin with, it is essential to understand the original context of the term, Black fatigue. Coined by diversity and inclusion expert Mary Frances Winters in her book Black Fatigue: How Racism Erodes the Mind, Body, and Spirit, the term refers to the chronic and cumulative effects of racism on Black people. Winters explains how ongoing exposure to microaggressions, discrimination, systemic barriers, and social inequity takes a physical, emotional, and psychological toll on Black individuals. This fatigue is not occasional or optional, it is a persistent burden carried throughout life, often beginning in childhood and persisting into old age. When white individuals co-opt the term to describe their own exhaustion from engaging in conversations about racism, they risk trivializing the very real suffering that the term was created to illuminate. The fatigue felt by white people in this context is usually situational and avoidable. They can opt out of the conversation, walk away from the discomfort, or return to social environments where race does not need to be discussed. This is, in fact, a form of privilege. The ability to disengage from racial dialogue without consequence stands in stark contrast to the lived reality of Black individuals who cannot escape the effects of racism in their daily lives. Furthermore, this repurposing of Black fatigue can reflect a centering of white emotional needs in conversations that are meant to address Black pain and systemic injustice. Rather than focusing on the victims of racism and the urgent need for change, the conversation shifts toward the feelings of those who are only just beginning to confront their role in or benefit from unjust systems. This shift undermines progress and can create frustration among Black people and their allies who are seeking genuine engagement and accountability. Of course, it is understandable that confronting racism and unlearning internalized beliefs can be uncomfortable and challenging. Feelings of guilt, confusion, or even helplessness are natural responses when someone begins to grasp the extent of racial injustice and their potential complicity in it. However, it is critical to distinguish between this discomfort and the actual lived fatigue of Black individuals navigating a racist society. Discomfort is a necessary step in growth and transformation. Avoiding it or labeling it as fatigue not only halts progress but also disrespects those for whom racial fatigue is a lived, daily experience. In conclusion, when white people claim to experience Black fatigue, they often unintentionally reveal a misunderstanding of both the term and the realities of systemic racism. While emotional responses to difficult truths are natural, co-opting a term rooted in the Black experience of oppression to describe momentary discomfort is misguided and potentially harmful. Instead of centering their feelings, white individuals must remain committed to the work of listening, learning, and contributing to meaningful change, even when the process feels exhausting. Growth demands endurance, and justice demands that we push past personal discomfort to stand in solidarity with those who cannot choose to opt out.